What's going on? This is Broc Calyxx. Welcome to the podcast with Red Dog.
I'm in fashion, roll with cold passion.
Welcome to another great edition of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up this mountain called wrestling. But by now, you know, this is like something like 200 episodes in. You guys should just be saying it with me, right? Just say, I am your Sherpa, because that's literally what I am. But like every good Sherpa, you got to have someone who's been there, done that, and can do it more efficiently than you can. And that's why it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. And who's entering the ring today? You can find this man at Work Rate. You can find this man at ACW, 1CW, Hard Knocks, DCW, and MCW. He is the hybrid monster, Broc Calyxx.
What's going on, Big Red Dog?
Yo, what's up, man? I'm hyped to have you on the show.
Always good to see you. Always good to hear your voice. Come on, man.
So it's crazy. It's crazy because we actually crossed paths back in like 2020. And you had been working at ACW. It was the first time that I had been at an indie show. So it was like I was very eye open, and I was just like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So
oh God, that show. Yeah, that was the Beastman. I ended up working him. I don't know if you remember, and I ended up getting injured in that match, and I was very frustrated, and I let him down as far as myself and the fans, obviously. And it was kind of a little short arm clothesline. It kind of really didn't go as well, and it was an unfortunate event. And the match started off amazing. He was an awesome babyface, still is, I believe. And it was just, we had great from the bell as well. And probably towards the very end, before we were taking it home, something just kind of happened with my shoulder, and I kind of felt like the same feeling as when you got in football, when you dislocated your shoulder or stinger, and I just knew something wasn't right. And we had to take it home quicker than expected. So, but yeah, it was a great show. James is great, of course. I've known James for a while. And it was awesome because it was in Cambridge, Maryland, which is like not many indie shows are there, period. And, it's pretty close to me as well. So it was a really, really cool venue. I thought it was, but.
yeah, it was right next to the VFW. It was in the VFW. It was really cool to just like be attached to it. It was like the first time that I got to see like how the indie world like got worked. And I just remember being like just overwhelmed, and like I stayed like right next to Sicken because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, bro. And he's like, Nah, you're gonna work security, stay right here and do this and do that. And then it would be like a year later, like I would find myself in a match with Beastman, and I was like, oh my God, this is so it was cool. It was a lot of fun, and it was weird to like be able to meet people, and then like we ended up running into each other like a couple more times after that, and I was like, dude, and I saw you at 1CW, and I was like, hey man, we gotta bring you on the podcast, and we gotta have these conversations.
Yeah. I mean, dude, both the Seans, I mean, I gotta give a shout out to both of them for just giving me a chance and opportunity. I mean, from day one. I joined Sean Hardy, that is, at 1CW back in 2014. I started training pretty frequently, and they kind of had like a business kind of freeze, whatever, in a break. So, but when Carlson came in 2018, I believe, he's given me a shot ever since, and I just have to. Speaking of 1CW, I have to give them a shout out. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's funny how like you say, like you see one person in another state, and then all of a sudden you see them in another one, and then it seems like 1CW you eventually reconnect with those people. You know what I'm saying? So, but
Yeah, I definitely understand because like I know like I've traveled like different places. Now like it's been weird, man, because like 2020, like I didn't imagine like anything I was doing. I think I worked like 4 matches all of 2020.
Yeah.
And obviously with like the shutdown and everything, like it kind of slowed everything down. But I didn't really even make my full like I guess in ring debut till like October. And that was I got injured and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it took some time to get into it. But then it was weird. Like I did 4 matches and I was done. And then I remember like not having another match until like May of 2017 or 2021. It was like May 17th or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was eye opening because I was like, oh snap! Like now I'm actually starting to work, and it was weird. Like I was all proud of myself because I had like 17 matches, and I was like, yeah, 17.
Yeah.
And so far this year, I was like, why was I so happy? I was like, I
Yeah.
worked 17 matches before July.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just like anything repetitive. I mean, anything you do. I mean, cooking or changing your car's oil or anything more repetitive you do, the better you're going to get. So, um, that comes with it. So, who, what company were you with, or when you started back in 2021?
So actually, when I started initially, my first match that I started with was actually C3W. It was
Okay.
pretty cool. That's what Richie and Casino. They're the ones that run that whole promotion. So I got in with them. They're the ones who gave me my first break. And then I worked with SCWA. And when I worked with SCWA out of West Virginia, like I came back and I think I had one match before that in like May of 2021, and then SCWA was like, "Hey, we had this open spot. You want to come fill it?" And I was like, "Yeah, who am I working?" They're like, "Beastman." I was like,
Oh,
"Bet, let's go!" And I
yeah.
just ran in head first into it, and then right after that, it just everything started kind of falling into place. Like I was working with like Michael Zamidio, which was really cool. Joshua Kavad, which was awesome. That was an awesome experience. And so like just from there, it just kind of trickled on.
It's a shame because I was going to say, definitely one of the best places I've ever worked. It's a shame he's not running anymore because he's doing his own thing now. Is Worker Rate, dude. Oh my god, dude, Kakoa. Um, I mean, from literally start to finish, his show was just absolutely amazing. I mean, he made you feel like a king in the locker room, and no matter where you were on the card, and and I just, of course, literally the weekend after his show is when the COVID shutdown happened, and he never ran a show after that, and he did his own. He's doing his own thing in Florida now. So, um, but I wish you could have gotten that experience to work with Work Rate, man. It's just, dude. I mean, even if you're in a typical battle royal, dude, it's like his whole like from when you arrive to the venue to like when you leave, dude. It's like it feels like you're on a whole nother level. It's just hard to explain. I don't know, but
Yeah. Kakoa's like one of those guys too. Like I definitely like enjoy being around his energy.
oh
Like
yeah,
I've talked to him, like I've had him on the podcast, and then like I like sometimes like I'll just reach out to him just randomly and just shout out to him and just like talk to him. He's definitely got like so much knowledge that like
oh good,
I don't think people really like appreciate and understand like how much this dude like gives back to the business and like helps like grow other people like to
honest,
to be at a level.
honest about if he doesn't see something that you do that he doesn't like, he tells you. He doesn't mean to be a dick about it. It's just he's honest. He's trying to make everybody better. He's not trying to make himself better. He's trying to make everybody better. So, I, and in the seminar I just did with him, I could kind of see that. You know, just being there that short period of time, he's. I mean, his main goal. He was like, my main goal out of this whole seminar is just to make everybody better. and you can just feel it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, work rate was great, dude. It's a shame that he's, uh, not running shows. But I can't hate him for that. Can't.
No, especially he's loving life in Florida too. Like he's doing good things down there as well. Like I've been peeping and watching him, and then seeing him like pop up on AEW Dark, which was
Right.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's ask some questions about you though, because like really like this whole thing's about you. So who is Broc Calyxx?
So, I when I first started into the business, my name was Mongo, and I kind of got that from my old workout buddy. He kind of just randomly one day in the gym, he was started calling me Mongo. Why? I have no idea. A lot of people get it confused with the Blazing Saddles character. I've never even seen the movie, so I have no idea. So I kind of went with that when I first started, and it's kind of like a very dominant name. So I kind of went with that. Um, I try to keep my character, in a mixture of a couple of like styles. Um, I have tried becoming a babyface. I cannot do it. A heel is my strength. Why? I have no idea. Because I'm like the nicest person on the outside, and I just a baby face is very tough to do, and you know that as well. It's very tough, and of course, growing up, as well as I do, we love the heels, and well, at least I do. But
Yeah.
uh, so mainly, to answer your question, I wanted to bring a character that was very dominant. Showed how hard I work, not only just where I work in the gym, but try to establish a dominant character. You know, it's I'm just kind of like being myself as far if I was in the gym. I turn into a different person when I go to the gym. It's like I turn into like I make it like a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like so, and that's just to make myself better as far as my appearance and also my strength goals and just the way I look and stuff. So I my character is I want to show everybody that that it's not just about working out, and it's also about being able to move for a big man as well. So and you know I want to bring out the moonsault, but some people won't let me do it. But it's kind of defeating the purpose of a big man. But it's whatever. I try to stay mobile and very active in the gym, not just lifting weights. I do a lot of like plyometrics, a lot of calisthenics as well. I don't just lift heavy weights. So I want to be like a multi-skill character in the ring as well. You know what I'm saying? So, but pretty much, I mean, honestly, I do it because I just love the business, and it's obviously for you. I'm sure it's a huge stress reliever. Um, the adre-
Yes.
the adrenaline rush is just you get nothing else like it. Um, it's addicted, and it's even though I'm a heel, I still see I make some kids smile, and that's awesome. So,
you,
so
you bring up like a couple good points, right? And it's something. It's like you get this like massive adrenaline rush, like right when you hit the curtain and you pop through. It is not. It's a feeling that I've had one other time, and it's something I'm very grateful for that I can actually still build up that adrenaline and get that like super high because like when I was like getting ready to go overseas and stuff like that and get to Iraq, like it was one of those things that like you're already at a heightened scent, and then when you come back, like just nothing really matches up to it. You're just kind of like in this like low playing field, and you're just kind of like on the same wavelength. So it's funny when I get into when I pop out the curtain, I hear like the crowd either like pop for me or they boo me, depending on where we're at. Uh, I get that same rush, and I'm just like, yo, this is what I've been looking for, and this is what I enjoy. And like, then you like hit a big move, and then the crowd explodes, and I just get like, just get re-energized.
Right.
But it is very like, it's very crazy because you have to stay controlled like in the whole entire environment, because like you can't get lost in the sauce. Like if you get lost in like the crowd, like you just forget everything and you just go crazy, you just go dumb.
Yeah, yeah. Things happen so quickly that very simple to slip up and make a mistake. That clock, yeah, especially like a 5 to 8 minute match, it goes by like it seems like it's like 30 seconds, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and going back to the adrenaline thing, I mean, so growing up, my dad hated wrestling. Okay, I mean, despised it, and even to this day, he despises it. His mom and dad, my grandparents, were the ones that actually introduced me to the business. What they would always have on WCW and Saturday night and blah blah blah. And when he found out I started training for wrestling, he was not a happy camper. So growing up as well, my mom and stepdad, they loved it, and through the Attitude Era and stuff. And so every time, like going back to the curtain, I always think about my parents and my grandparents, and it's weird because it's like because they were there, like even though one doesn't like it and a lot of them other didn't mind, they were there when I first saw the images of pro wrestling, and so I always think about them before I even enter that curtain, and it seems to help me kind of calm down the adrenaline rush. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just like when I compete powerlifting, your adrenaline is flowing 1,000 miles per hour, and you can if you're not thinking, completely through, you can literally make a mistake and hurt yourself. And the same thing with, in the ring, that other guy you're working with or whoever, or multiple guys, you're there to be safe with them as well, and they trust you and you trust them. So, you know, before going out into the curtain, adrenaline's still, flowing, and I try to calm that down, find ways to calm that down, but also staying excited. You know what I mean? So, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes a
So,
lot of sense.
so,
It makes a lot of sense because like it's one of those things. It's like that everything's weak. It's controlled chaos. Like at the end of the day, you're so hyper focused, and
right.
like you're trying to find like that balance, but then like as soon as you bust through, like you're like, all right, I gotta engage with the crowd, and then I'm just gonna go have some fun, and then I gotta get in the ring, and then you're trying to be safe, you're talking to these matches, or you're like, some people are like, we're just gonna go on the fly, man, just feel it out, like just do what you think is natural. And I'm like, you know what, this is not gonna end well for anybody because I've only been in for like 2 years, and someone's gonna get hit in the face by real, and I'm gonna feel bad. So
It's funny you say that because I hate talking, on the fly. I rather choreograph. My best, in my opinion, my best match I ever worked as far as um, psychology and chemistry with that worker was that work rate with Bruno. And the reason being is because we had about 6 to 7 hours to go over our match. And let me tell you something, by the time we went through that curtain, we could have done it blindfolded probably because we went over it so many times, the spots and stuff. And when it came to being out in the ring, we didn't have to put that much effort in because we already knew what spots were. We just had to make sure we played our part with the crowd. So in my mind, that from top to bottom, entrance to exit, that was by far my best match I've ever worked. Was with him because we just went over it so many fluent times, and I wish that can happen a lot more in the business. And I know things change, and I know people, are late or don't show up at all. But when you're working that person, and I don't know why this isn't established more, and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But if if I know I'm working you at the next show in the singles, why can't we why can't, if we know who's going over and the promoter says it's okay for this and that, why can't we just go? Why can't we like create something really special? You know what I'm saying? If we have that opportunity, let's create something special. Why show up to the venue and only have 15 minutes before we go out to go over a 10-minute match?
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand that. Like, and like I said, I understand things happen, things change every 5 minutes, and in that business, as well as I do, you've been in the same locker room as me, and that car has changed probably 40 times in 7 to 8 minutes. You know
Yeah.
that. But like, there's been times where I've known who I'm working or had somewhat of an idea, and we could have spent weeks or hours leading up, even just the day of the show. Like, we could have, we get to the venue early. Like, we could go over, we could do something really cool. But instead, like, we only get the opportunity. Sometimes you only have a half an hour to go over a 12-minute match. It's like, what? Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. So when I had that opportunity with Bruno, um, dude, it was like the work was already done. Like, we just had to like work the crowd
Right.
because
It's funny for me because like I feel like when I get put into positions like, and it's something I guess it's relatively like it's new to me, right? I've talked about it before. I'm kind of caught in this world of like the old school versus like in the new school. So like there's like all these people who want to like go through everything and like talk about every single part. Like I'm gonna hit this, and this. What kind of moves do you hit? Okay, we'll hit that there and this here, and then we'll do this, and this, and this. And then I've had other people who are like, here's what we do at the beginning. Here's what we're doing at the close.
yeah,
We're gonna figure everything else out there. Like,
they have
okay.
it's like there's different styles. Like, yeah, like, I mean, like, exactly. You're exactly right. Like, you just never know what you're gonna get when you show up to some of these shows. It's like,
No. That's why I guess it's cool. It's cool. Like it's cool if that's how you want to work. And I guess that's where like I've kind of like learned to kind of like let go and I'm just like, all right, man, like we're just gonna go
yeah,
through and we're gonna have some fun. Cause like I love hearing because I have like a knack for being able to hear people, even if it's like really, really loud, I can hear them like really clear in my ear.
yeah,
And like I'll hear somebody tell me and they'll be like, uh, hit me with something. Like, bet. I don't know. When you hit you, spine buster. That's what we're going with. We were like, why'd you hit me with spine buster? I don't know, man. You just said hit you with something. So I just pulled
yeah,
this out.
yeah, yeah. Hey, that's a pretty good talent if you can hear stuff on the low like that. You know what I mean? It's pretty good.
It is weird because I know I've heard and Sicken talks about it with me a lot too. And Sicken was like, one time we were working, he goes, it was just the very faint, right? But it was just like 1, 2, and he's like, gun spot, boom, boom. And then like here it came back, and all of a sudden I bust out this gun spot, and he was just like, he's like, dude, I didn't think you heard me at all. And I
Yeah,
was like, no, I did. I was like, it was crazy.
I haven't seen him in forever, dude. It's been
Oh
like
yeah.
maybe 2 years, maybe even longer. No, it was, yeah. The last time I seen him was at the ACW show. That was, Jesus, forever ago.
I'm gonna make fun of him too, because he, is my trainer, and so I go out of my way just to like
Yeah.
purposely make fun of him about everything. He gets mad at me, especially because like now that he's coming off of injury and stuff like that, and after tearing his tricep,
Oh,
he's like, all right, well, we're gonna work this match at this place, and I'm gonna go work this guy at that place and this place, and I'm like, don't hurt your tricep, and he's just like, shut up, Cliff.
yeah.
So speaking like, he had like a pretty bad bump that actually kind of took him out of action. I'm just kind of curious, what is the worst bump you've taken?
Um, an actual bump, not a bad bump. Like I said, the only injury that I had is probably when I took that clothesline from Beastman. That was about it. I'm just trying to think. Not really, man. I'm just trying to. Usually, I've been pretty good at like after a back bump or any kind of slam or anything. No, it's just mainly my main injury that I had to actually take it home real quick was that shoulder injury. That was about it. So that was weird, dude. It was like it literally like it like took the breath out of me. Like I think the pain was just so overwhelming that I could barely even like breathe or talk. And I was trying to tell the ref like like something's not right here. Like and he's like, we gotta take it home. I was like, yeah. I was like, my left arm was like dangling.
Right.
You can actually see a picture that Paul took of me when I was actually walking to the back. My left shoulder, you can see my clavicle is actually kind of drooped down. And I actually saw orthopedic guy. It was my AC joint that got it's not dislocated. It wasn't dislocated, but it was out of place. So what happens is there's cartilage that actually starts growing and replaces where it was before. So you can actually, to this day, you can actually still feel the cartilage that has grown underneath. So, but other than that, as far bump wise, no. It just sucks that sometimes when you hit uneven and
Yes.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. I
Oh,
hate that
oh,
feeling.
yeah.
Oh man, especially because especially if someone takes a bump right before you, like if you're doing like a I don't even know how this happened with me, but this happened on a vertical suplex. One person hit and then I hit. And like, oh my god, that was the
Oh, so
worst.
yeah. So when you were landing, the mat was probably coming up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep.
Oh,
I was like, that sucked 100%. And
yeah.
I was like, I remember I was just like, what happened? And he's like, I hit first. I was like, how did I not hit the same time? Like
Yeah.
it legitimately I'm tracking you. I don't know how you hit first.
Oh my god.
I was not happy. I was like, I remember walking to the back and like I could feel like my lungs were vibrating and I was like, I hate this.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of have a bad luck with shoulders, like with wrestling. Like I remember training for a few weeks. I was actually going up to CZW to train in the old South Philly arena, and I remember we were doing a drill, sunset flip over the top rope. The guys ducking through the second rope, and I remember I think it was like Alex Cologne that was actually doing the drill on, and like this was like easily 10 years ago. And I remember doing the drill, and I don't think I let go of the top rope. So my arm was all the way back here, but I was on the mat. It was the same shoulder, dude. Like,
Damn.
I don't know, something about shoulders, man. I don't know. But
Nah, that's crazy though. So let's talk about something you've been in since like 2014, like you said, and you've worked quite a long time. So
yeah.
what's one of the hardest lessons that you've had to learn like while you've been in the business?
That pretty much every show you show up to work at, you're not on the card. Yeah. So it's like, you think that, it's just like at a job, you think that you're suited out for the role and that you think that you deserve a spot on the card, and sometimes you just don't get that privilege. You kind of have to bite your tongue on that and kind of take it as a lesson learned. Um, but other than that, I mean, and obviously, of course, the politics and stuff, the childishness in the locker room and stuff, which is just I don't understand to this very day. Everybody likes to use the word brotherhood, and it's not a brotherhood in some promotions, I guess you can say. I mean, we're all there for to have fun and just to. Of course, everybody has their reasons for why they do it and stuff, but I just do it for for fun, adrenaline rush to stay in shape. But yeah, I mean, just to answer your question, one of the lessons learned is just that there's always somebody better than you or that deserves a spot, and you kind of have to understand that, if that makes any sense.
It
Um,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah. So of course, you want to everybody takes self um, self pride in themselves, and as you should, and so your confidence has to stay high. And then when it kind of gets shut down, you kind of have to know how to handle that, if that makes any sense. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it though. I mean, I just keep my mouth shut and do what I got to do. You know what I mean? So just like
I feel like I feel like I hear that a lot, especially for me. It's like the ears, ears open, eyes open, mouth shut, and just kind of like shut up and just follow along. And I take that to pride because I'm like, yo, like you're gonna talk to me about a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm gonna have answers, but I'm not gonna usually talk about it unless someone's like, what do you think, or what do you want to do, or how do you feel about this? Otherwise, normally I'm just like, I got nothing to say. I'm just listening to everybody, and I'm just observing as much as possible.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not a professional. So I definitely don't open my mouth when I'm not supposed to, you know what I mean? So, um, yeah, I mean, it's especially when you're in a seminar, you just shut the hell up, you know what I mean? So, yeah, Kokoa does a great seminar. Also, Bob Evans, great guy. I did a seminar with him and back in 2019, I think. And I'll never forget that day. It was at a 1CW show. It was a pre-show, obviously, and it was during the winter time. It was in February, and the venue we were at. I don't think you ever went to that one. It was the old. It was in Seaford, Delaware,
Mm.
and it was in the old Christian Academy school. But anyways, they didn't have any heat working, and it was like one of those February days where it was like definitely in the low 20s. And I remember where we were doing the seminar and we were in sweatshirts, and it was like we were just outside, dude. It was like it was freezing cold. So like taking any kind of bumper, like hitting the rope was like hitting like ice.
Damn.
I'll never forget that. And then it's just you get the body heat flowing, and eventually it gets warm, and you just get your body temperature up. Um, but yeah, man, it's you miss all kinds of stuff when 1CW first started coming back, man. It was you missed the Now era. Do you remember seeing that?
No, I was not a part of that. It's
Yeah, so
weird
that
how I was gonna say, like for me, 1CW, my debut at 1CW was November of 2021 with
okay.
the Royal Rumble that they
Yeah,
had.
yeah. So Carlson started Now era. If you didn't know,
I did not.
yeah, yeah, he started that and he ended it. So, yeah, um we had some pretty good times at the old venue, the one in Seaford, man. It was like we had some great shows. We actually in December of 2019 is when we had Jeff Jarrett come and had to have a seminar. It wasn't in ring seminar. It was kind of like a sit down like marketing kind of seminar thing, and he just did a spot later that night in the show, and that's when you know that like 1CW was coming pretty big, man. Like so, yeah, it was a great experience with him as well. So picking his brain about things. So yeah, man.
I like that. That's cool though, and I know like they always bring in fly guys that want to like have a seminar
Yeah,
and talk to you. It's cool like being a part of 1CW because like the one thing I do appreciate is that you're in the locker room with everybody, and you legit, it's a who's list, and you can ask all the questions that you want to anybody, and usually you're gonna get the answers that you're looking for.
right. Yeah, I mean it's always I'm sure your experience there. It's always a pretty well ran run show, and never really any drama, which is good. So.
Right.
I mean, not like we don't have enough drama in our everyday lives. You know what I mean?
It happens, man. It's crazy.
I know.
But speaking of like, speaking of being young in this game and like learning things, like what kind of advice would you give to like up and coming wrestlers?
Um, well, it depending on the character, but I mean, even if you're a lucha libre guy, I mean, it's all about staying in shape. And it's being consistent with with working out. um, all kinds of people, not just wrestlers, but people in the gym and, people at work even. How do you grow your arms, or how do you keep your shoulders or arms like this size? Well, it's simple. It's not steroids, because I don't do steroids. It's called consistency in the gym. That means working a 12, 15-hour day and having the natural willpower to get into the car and go to the gym or go work out wherever you work out at. And not saying, oh, you know what, I am tired. I worked 12 hours. I'm just going to go home and do whatever. It's having that natural for me. And I'm sure everybody's different. It's not easy. There's days I work 16 hours, at the hospital where I'm constantly on my feet. I only get to sit down for lunch. And sometimes that doesn't even happen. And, before my shift is about to end, I already have a goal, before I even woke up, was to work out that night. And so my advice is no matter what the situation is, or your work schedule, or things that happen in life, you got to make time for it and be consistent with it. That doesn't mean working out 2 days a week, and then the next week you take off and then come back the following week. You got to have a plan. You go a training split. The internet nowadays, dude, you can find anything. I'm I've been working out since I was 11, 12 years old, dude. And I still, to this very day, I still go online to get advice from old bodybuilders, their training splits, their training programs. I want to do a leg workout, but I don't want to do the same workout. I'm going to Google a leg workout that I want to switch up. There's The technology is so strong now where there should be no excuses. But to stay consistent in the gym, um, or just keep overall just healthy wise. And going back to what we said, advice is to, when you go to these shows, or if you're new or even in the business for 10, 20 years, just to always are ears open, eyes are open, no matter how much you know or how much knowledge you have. There's always somebody that knows more than you. Always, always. And any kind of doctor would tell you that. So I mean, yeah, as far as in advice wise, I mean, it's going back to what Kakoa says in the seminar. The character, be a character that is you. Like, you shouldn't have to try super hard or go above and beyond to be who you are in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, relate your everyday life to your in ring character. Use your real life problems to fuel your in ring character. Pretty much, just be you. Even if babyface, heel, just figure out a way to just be you, and it's so much easier. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, when I go out, um, my my whole thing that I need to work on is, first of all, slowing the hell down, because I go too fast. I know I do. And working the crowd a little bit better and more as well. I need to do a better job at that. Nobody's perfect. We're only humans. We're not robots. So that's pretty much my 3 pointers of advice: is just stay consistent with working out, and keeping a somewhat presentable body, because we are in the show business. Um, Unless you're like Beastman, where it just fits your character, you know what I mean? But he does work out. He tries. I'll give him that.
Well, I
But
think at one time he was close to like 500 pounds, and now he's down to like, I think he's like
yeah,
350, 360. Like,
yeah, saying he still he works out hard, but his character, it's fine. It works. You know what I'm saying? So
it's a beast.
right, right. I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, definitely the most important one is just always listen to somebody that's has more knowledge than you, man. Simple as that. I mean, right now, like, I just, like, last week I started X-ray school, And like I've been trying to get into X-ray school for going on 3 years now. It's a very tough program to get into, and once I'm finally in, I accomplished that goal. Dude, when an instructor is teaching, I am I'm listening to every word, every adjective, every verb she's saying. Um, I'm not interrupting her. I don't think I know anymore because I don't. I'm there to learn, and I'm there to to get my degree in that field and to move on with my specialty. So just listen. Just
I
listen.
like it.
So
Well,
it's not too hard, right?
no, not at all. And it's the great thing because in the world of wrestling, we're always in a lot of different locker rooms. So last thing I need from you is one do and one don't of the locker room.
One do. Don't shit in somebody's bag like Randy Orton now.
That I feel it's so nasty because the fact that happened and
Yeah.
happened like in other places, I'm like that's disgusting.
Yeah. One do is, I'd say, well, definitely introduce yourself and just be respectful to everybody. Introduce yourself to everybody that you come in contact with or even see, even if they're in the middle of a conversation. Just introduce yourself. Keep that level of respect in the locker room, and just be you, man. Don't put on any front, and just be you. And don't is kind of going back to what I said. Just don't open your mouth when you don't think it needs to be open. I would say don't question the promoter about anything. He's there. For everybody. He's there for a lot of people than just you. You know what I'm saying? So he's got a lot on his plate. He's got to deal with a 12 match or 15 match card, and he's got to make sure this guy gets paid and that guy gets paid. So you got to have to understand that your role is your role there. You know what I'm saying? What's up, man? And you just do what the promoter tells you to. So simple as that.
Like it. So those are like all really like my heavy hitting questions, but we do have the second best segment of the 3 Count podcast. You're probably trying to figure out what the first is. It's the Red Dogs Power Rankings that you can find every Sunday on our debate show. But this is the 3 Count podcast, 10 count questions. And Mr. Brock, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to fire off 10 questions at you rapid fast. And whatever's your answer, that's your answer.
Let's do it.
So we're going to put on the imaginary timer for added pressure. Bing! And in the words of Mike Goldberg, here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
Raw.
Favorite movie?
Terminator 2. Duh.
Let's go. Judgment Day?
Yeah.
Sonic or Mario?
Mario.
Favorite cartoon?
Rocco's Modern Life.
Let's go. My favorite episode, I'm not going to front, when they had the censor bars. And that was such a great show.
Or Beavis and Butthead. That never gets old either.
Yes. Actually, I'm so hyped because I'm going to go watch Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, and I'm like ecstatic about that.
It's great. They're saying it's great.
Everybody keeps showing me the clip about the white privilege, and I think that's like one of the greatest things I've ever seen, like in cinema. I don't care what people got to say. Like, it's so dumb. It's so great. Deadlift or squats?
Deadlift.
Favorite breed of dog?
That's a tough one. Golden Retriever and Golden Doodle, Big Will.
PlayStation or Xbox?
Oh, PlayStation, dude. Xbox, too many controllers.
Favorite podcast?
Red Dog, duh.
right? It's not like
Come
we have
on, man.
It's not like we have it marketed everywhere around here.
Yeah. Is that even a serious question?
Should be. So nominate one person that you want to see on this podcast.
Let's see. I'm just trying to think of an actual. How about, who I like to see? I like to see Black G's.
Yes,
Black
100%.
G's.
I'm all
G's,
about this
G's
life.
is my boy, man.
And then last but not least, my favorite question that asked every single person who comes on this podcast: favorite curse word.
Fuck.
I tell people that all the time. I'm like, there's any other curse word to use like in this time? Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Use it for everything.
Yeah, dirty bitch. There you go.
All right. Well, those are all my questions. So the last thing I do have for you is to let our listeners and our viewers know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at hybridmonster87, and of course Facebook, which I don't really mess with a whole lot. So Instagram is definitely. I do not have a Twitter. I don't mess with Twitter. So pretty much just Instagram.
Yeah, that's it. So he gave you all his handles. He told you where you can find him. And like every great wrestling match, we got to take this home. Because this is the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Into Ring. And I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up this mountain called wrestling. But like every good Sherpa, it's never about me. It's about who's into the ring. And who's into the ring? He's right there. Broc Calyxx. You guys know what to do. Tune in to the next episode and be there, or listen, you're on all of our social media platforms. Well, it's right down here, okay? You're subscribing, you're following, you're liking, you're commenting. You're even going over to our merch store on prowrestlingtees.com/the 3 Count Podcast and buying our merch. Or you're just really waiting for this episode to end. You're waiting for the outro, and then you're choosing another episode to listen to. Peace. What's going on, 3 Count Nation? I'm Clifford Red Dog Miller with the catchphrase. But what I really want you to do right now, go to twitter.com, right? Go over there, find us at the 3count_pod, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a comment. We want to talk to you guys. Go to IG at the 3 Count Pod. Give us a like, give us a follow, leave us a comment. We want to interact with you. Go to youtube.com, give subscribe, turn the bell on, turn the notifications, leave a comment. We want to talk to you. Go to anchor.fm/the 3 Count Podcast, and in there, you can leave us a message, and we will talk to you. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that we want to talk to you. We want to have fun with you guys, and we love listening to what you guys have to say. Also, one thing I need you to do for me, the 3 Count Podcast also has merchandise. Oh! At prowrestlingtees.com/the 3 Count Pod. Please go buy our t-shirts. We love you guys, and we hope you love us too. So show us some support, please.